Welcome to your Daily 5 for Monday, December 18th, 2023. Lando and I talked a bit on the Friday show about the new experience of playing Ghost Recon Breakpoint, which is the game we're playing now as our follow-up to Baldur's Gate 3, because we wanted to go from something that was really a very narratively engrossing and heavy experience into something that is narratively basically a C-grade Italian knockoff of an action movie type of experience, which is exactly what the story of Ghost Recon Breakpoint is. Walker never fails to be hysterical. And we talked about this again on Friday, but I thought this really did merit its own 5 because, as with the Pixel 8 Pro, it is really important if I'm going to criticize something to then also credit if there are course corrections that make it massively better. And there is no other way to describe the difference in Breakpoint now from when it was released in 2019. Ghost Recon Breakpoint today is the Ghost Recon Wildlands sequel that it was marketed and sold as. It is now what it should have been all along. They have added, and I really think this is the best possible approach for games like this, they have added all the toggles to be able to disable most of the things that people like me did not like that they added into the Ghost Recon experience as a Wildlands sequel, which is notably the gear score, the stamina meter, the injury system. All those things now can be turned off. And the difference in playing that game now compared to when it came out, it's night and day. I mean, this is now a fast, fun, fluid game that you can jump on with other people and you can just have a blast. And it really just makes it so much better and does enhance the comedy of the Walker storyline. So you are free to just... And by the way, because some people, I think, equate being able to turn some of these things off to the game suddenly being easy. It does not change the difficulty of the game. We routinely get wiped out by the elite level characters in the game. So this is not a... That just proves that all this stuff never really had any bearing on the difficulty. This was just a way to make you do collectathons for guns, to try to make the experience, I guess, seem more immersive. And if you feel that way, you can always leave those settings on. But it always... I really just don't understand stamina meters in games anyway, but you couple that with the injury system, and a lot of times it just felt like the game was trying to stop you from playing it. Again, if you like that stuff, you can still have it. This is the ideal way for games like this to function. Allow people who want to have all of these difficulty options turned on, go for it. I know there are people who play games because they want to engage with the challenge. They want to, learn the game's mechanics and basically fight against the game and then come out on top and feel like they've achieved something. Go for it. This is for people who like Dark Souls type of stuff. You can leave all these settings on and you can have the game feel more difficult, I guess. It never really felt like it was more difficult. It just felt like it was cheap in terms of the way that it would just stop you from being able to achieve things. But for people who want that, it's all still there. But then if you want to turn all that off, which is exactly what we did, it becomes such a better game. It's just a more fun game. And honestly, in some ways, in fixing the problems, or at least allowing options for those who didn't engage with the things they added to the original version of the game, it feels like they've put in options that weren't even necessary that are still great. I think there's 4 settings for the HUD and minimap, which I don't know many games that give you 4 different settings for the way that your minimap and HUD work in games like this. I don't know if I've ever played another one that had this many options. And again, you can even, you could, let's say you like the stamina meter. Well, turn it back on. Leave the injury thing off, or the other way around. This is how it should be. It really should be that people who want a game that is more challenging and difficult, fine, have those options. But not everybody plays games the same way and for the same reasons. And in fact, in some ways, it's just allowing more accessibility for these things. Not everybody's good at video games. In fact, as you get older, you tend to get worse at certain games. So the ability to still be able to enjoy them, I don't know why that would be something that anybody would see as a negative. I know there are people that are, but there are people who look at the world in a radically different way than I'm ever going to be able to comprehend. But certainly, again, I think it's important if I'm going to criticize something, I'm going to criticize a game, a company, whatever, that I also give credit when something is then improved upon or fixed. And if you skipped on Breakpoint the first time because it didn't do all that well when it came out, or you started playing it and you really hated the way it was set up, I would say if you wanted a sequel to Wildlands, that's what Breakpoint is now. So I'm happy that they've added all these options. I think it radically improves the game. And again, we talked about it on Friday, but I felt it merited its own 5 to point this stuff out. Later.